Hey, I'm going live. If you're running into the recording of this, know that it's for the Denver Guitar Orchestra and denverguitarorchestra.com. And this is a level 4 work session. The main idea here is for us to have a chance to work together until we get this darn thing right. And in a minute, I'm going to be logged in here. Am I logged in now? All right, so now I edit the page. So I'm going to go post a link to this web seminar on there. And then if you're catching the recording, just know that it already happened. But the resources are available at denverguitarorchestra.com, and you should go get them. In the meantime, I'm going to get us set up for tonight's show. And once I hit update here, people will start to filter in, and somebody will let me know if the sound is good or not. All right, so there's that. Let me get rid of this. Got that. Update. Make sure this works. And then we're going to play Remember Me tonight, which is harder than I wish it was. It sure is a pretty tune. Make sure I'm going the right place. There we go. I should have put my Denver Guitar Orchestra. I don't have a Denver Guitar Orchestra shirt. I just have a Columbia shirt tonight. I am not very well prepared from a beauty standpoint. I'll post the link from earlier today here. Turn it orange. Make that space go away and then hit update. All right, so we're getting everybody in. Anybody shown up here yet? Nobody's here yet. It's just me and you and the recording. All right, we've got a couple people coming in. So we'll see who the first one is and see who says, hey, the sound is good. Look at how lovely the lighting is. We finally, after many failed attempts at getting the lighting right, I think we're doing okay. I actually look like me. And hopefully I sound like me. Make sure that this link is working properly. Sync link. Well, that was from earlier today. All right, and it's 7:54. We won't start until 8:02 or something. So if you're watching the replay of the video, you can easily fast forward 7 minutes. Let's do that. Just fast forward 7 minutes, and I'll see you there. In the meantime, I'm going to sit here for 7 minutes in real time and eat some ice cream. A friend of ours down the hall is having a birthday tonight, and so I'm missing the party, but I got the ice cream. So. So, I emailed everybody that this is going on. So let me make sure. Cool. That's how many people did I tell tonight? About 10 of them. About 10 people, maybe, right? And anyway, anybody that logs in and has your YouTube credentials logged in, if you'll let me know if the sound is good. Vic is here. She's not about to miss ice cream, that's for sure. Yeah, we're having a birthday party for a woman down the hall. And I said, I got to go teach class. And they're like, okay, we're going to stay here and eat cake and ice cream. So I'm eating my ice cream before it melts. I still got the cake. I'm hopeful. And Vic, let me know if the sound is good. That's the only thing I ever worry about. We had some sound challenges earlier today, which I'm starting to think might have been on my end because I don't remember restarting the computer earlier today, but this one started up from scratch. So should be fine. Let's see, what else do I want to talk about? Sun is setting here. We had a splendid day in Denver. It was 80 degrees-ish. And I didn't see any news. I have no idea if anything happened today. So I'm assuming the world is in the same level of chaos that it has been in lately, and I'm going to go with the idea that ice cream is the better way to go. Sound is great. Lessons are great. What a great way. You know what will happen? It's exciting, Vic. You're at the end of the summer. You're going to be well. You probably already are a fine player, but you're going to be just. We'll have a system in place where we come for an hour a day and we just get to play. Get to get a little better. I think the hardest part of music is just coming up with a routine. And if you say, hey, I'm just going to be on Gary's live sessions, whether he says anything important or not isn't important. It's me being there and practicing a little bit. And I think, you have no choice but to get better just by having that routine. Yeah, only music is important. Yeah, that's it. That's all that matters. Wouldn't that be wonderful if that was true? I'd be the president of the world. That wouldn't be a good thing. I'm president of the condo association, and that's bad enough. A couple years back. Speaking of leadership, here's what leadership entails. In a condominium association, because you have the board of directors, and what the board of directors generally is well, in most places, it's somebody with an axe to grind and they get on the board and they're going to change some stuff. Well, around here, we don't have that. Around here, we're like, could somebody please be on the board? We have to have 7 members on the board. And anybody that with an axe to grind, they just come and complain. They understand that if they come to complain to the board, it's a 3-year commitment. And so we have a real hard time getting people to join the board. And we're lucky right at the moment. We're fully staffed on the board. We have all 7 members. It's very great. But people are like, I don't want to be on the board. I don't want to be responsible for anything. But because I've been on the board a long time, they tend to see me as the whipping boy, right? So anything that's wrong, I get an email about. So we got, somebody who's got a messy balcony. I got to go. I don't have to deal with it, but I got to be a part of the solution, right? And so we say, hey, we have a part-time manager. We say, hey, you got to go tell those people to clean up their balcony. He says, okay, I'll go help them. Well, it should just happen, right? I shouldn't involve me being in charge of it. And a couple of years back, we had to replace the heater in the building, which is about $4 million job, and a lot of construction, and we were in and out of everybody's apartments. And during that time, of course, I'm the worst human being in the world because I'm actually helping preserve people's property values and all of this stuff. And they would send me these mean, hateful emails, and I'm not a politician. So sometimes I'd write back and I'd say, this is a really mean email. Why are you being so mean? I'm here to help you. And my favorite one was, well, you ran for office, so you have to put up with it. And I'm like, oh, is that how that works? And so since I ran for office and I was trying to be this political animal where I'm trying to gain power by running for the board, you now get to say really rude things to me on email, and I should just tolerate it. I think that the person who sent that to me was off their medication at the time, but in any event, be nice to the people who are trying to help. That's what I think. That's the bottom line. Hey, Elizabeth, welcome in. Elizabeth, I'm missing you in our daily broadcasts, but I also know that you are in the process of writing 50 more songs. You're on number 10. I've been reading your emails, but unable to get time to write you back, unfortunately. And I'm absolutely delighted you're already at 10. It's incredible. I'll tell you, those summers when I got to do all 50 of the songs are still some of my fondest times in my life, really. I wrote musicals, I wrote symphonies, I wrote and all kinds of instructional stuff. Just absolutely a delight to write that much music in the summer. And so I am missing you. Oh, you've been coming to the 11 o'clock. Okay. I'm on. Oh, you're working on 11. That's what you meant. You're on song number 11. I know you told me you'd finished number 10. So, yeah. Well, we have until October 1st, right? I've got one done. You have 11. So I know at least you're conquering me for sure. um, I'm way behind. So we'll see if I ever catch up. I won't catch up this year. I know that. What are we playing today? Oh, we're playing Remember Me. All right, it's 8:02. Let's go ahead and get started. Always have a few people hanging out. Don't know who they are. Glad you guys are here as well. If you want to chat here on this, you log in. If you could make sure you're subscribed to my channel. It's really, we're trying to get it to 1,000, because if we can get 1,000 subscribers, then something happens in YouTube where they start taking you a little bit more serious. And we're working on pretty hard, all of us as a group, both in guitar and ukulele, to be taken seriously at a whole nother level, right? Anybody can play guitar. Anybody can, la da 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 da. Anybody can do that. Not anybody. A lot of people can do that. But to be playing "Remember Me," which was written for a symphony on a guitar, one note at a time, and then adding in some melody underneath that, or some harmony underneath that, and then adding in some decorative notes. This is high level stuff, and and it's teachable, and it's stuff that you could take the sheet music that I teach with and go teach somebody else with it. And so I do want you to, as much as possible, be talking to your friends and your people who understand how to use the internet, and have them come check it out. They don't need to even care what I'm doing. Just have them come and subscribe, right? So if we can get 1,000 subscribers, I would be delighted, right? That's the next goal in my life, is to do as much as I can to get as much of attention for what we're doing here. Not for me. It's irrelevant that I'm here. It's that the program allows you to play at an incredibly high level, both either ukulele or guitar, and with just taking these sheets of paper that are already done, putting them in front of you, and learning to play the 3 different ways that are shown up, sometimes 4 different ways in each piece of music. So subscribe, and then share this information with people you know, and try to talk them into coming over here. Let's see, quality versus quantity. That's what I keep telling myself, Elizabeth. It's quality. Yeah, I'm writing really quality stuff. Hey, Bill, welcome in. Good to see you. Should show up at your house tomorrow. Oh yeah, you mailed it to me. I saw that in your email, so I'm excited to read it. Let's play Remember Me. Tonight we're gonna have this for a couple weeks. What I learned from doing Christie's Lean on Me week after week after week, I think we did 3 or 4 weeks total. That when I first got it, boy, I was really struggling with playing it, and by the end, I was playing it pretty well. And so I do think we want to hang on to the level 4 songs a little longer than we do level 1s. Level 1s were 1s, 2s, and 3s. Those songs, we're holding on to them for a week, and then Friday comes and we play them as best we can, and then on Monday we start on a new set, which is fine, because really after a week of Frere Jacques, you really need to move on, right? And that's also true of A Tisket, A Tasket, and what else is in there? What are we doing? Oh, Mary Had a Little Lamb. Mary Had a Little Lamb, very important song to learn from, but you really want to be done with it after a week. And so we'll be doing that. I like the system that we're doing now. Basically, Evelyn, who's been joining us, thought of it. She says, "Hey, I want to have 2 or 3 songs a day, so I can, see where my level and what's feeling comfortable." And so we're following her idea, and I like it. I think during the day we're playing 4 songs, but the level 4 song obviously is much more challenging in general than the other 3, and so I do want to hang on to it for a few weeks. And I think the way we will know when to get rid of it is when I can finally play it with some level of precision. Then it's time for it to go. Okay, because if I can play it, you guys that are a little bit more competent and serious guitarists, you guys should be able to play it like lights out. You'll be like, "Come on, Gary, get it together." So I like the idea of spending more time focusing on level 4. Yeah, and I think And to Bill's point, it's really about focusing, right? We get it. We spend a little time with it. We get to kind of know what's on the paper, and then we don't want to just be like, okay, play that, and move on, which is what we do as guitarists and what we do as musicians. Well, I basically know what's on the page, and I'm moving on. And then probably if you ask yourself, what were you playing 6 months ago, that you might not even remember, you know. And what I'm hoping is one of these songs will fire you up and inspire you to just memorize the thing and make it part of your permanent repertoire. This weekend level in the daytime classes we've been playing Plaisir d'Amour, and every time I play that I'm like, I should just memorize this thing. This thing is wonderful. This is a freaking nice song. So all right, let's go through. We'll talk briefly about the chords in this one. Most of you guys are here are not singers, and so I don't see a ton of reason to spend a ton of time on it. But let's talk about if you were going to attack this as a chord song, or if you happen to say, hey, I'm going to go play melody, I need somebody to play chords, and every guitarist I know plays chords, so I'm going to have them come over and do the chords. You would probably want to be able to speak to that, the chords on here at some meaningful level. So the first, on measure 1, I put in the bar chord G. This is mostly Arlo has convinced me that bar chords are the correct answer to everything. And so you've got that G chord, remember me, though I. And the nice part is when you're using that bar chord G, then to get to your C minor, you just drop down. Have to say goodbye, remember me. Okay, so, but you can also use the open forms, remember me, though I. You're stuck using this bar chord. Have to say goodbye, remember me. But if you just use like at measure 4, I put the open chord up there. But if you stuck with your bar chord through the whole thing, then you've got basically almost no motion going on up until the open E chord in 6. Watch what happens. Remember me, though I have to say goodbye, remember me. And then your F chord, slide down. Don't let me make you cry. Come back up to your B7. Whoops. Here. On the 2nd fret, yeah. Cry. The blah, 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 blah. Though I'm far away. And then go back to your bar chord. By the way, you're hearing my great singing skills. Hold you in my, and then back to the C chord. Arms, heart, I sing. So in other words, I'm doing a terrible job of singing it, but you can see sort of why it would make sense to use a bar chord G there instead of the open G. And for some people, that's easier than others. A lot of you guys are, me included, would love to just be able to skirt the whole issue of bar chords, but you're not going to be able to. And especially with level 4 songs where it is what it is kind of situation, bar chords are going to be part of what you do. You don't have to like them, and but you're not going to avoid them completely. And so it's one of those things where you say, all right, got bar chords, going to deal with it, going to do the best I can, and then we move on. So, hey, Pele, welcome in. I find it easier to use the bar chord G throughout. Yeah, so Bill has already figured that out, right? he reads my mind. This G chord, and really remember that shape is super useful. You got your E chord, write it up 1, you got your F, write it up 1 up to 3, and now you have a G. And don't forget, and it will come up a lot, it's also here on 5, you got a nice A chord. Okay? So all of those are going to, so while in the beginning it sounds like, right, that's it. It's not so much in the beginning whether you got good tone, it's a matter that you know what it is. Hey, that's an A chord. Sounding terrible right now. And then one day, it comes out of your guitar and you're like, yeah, I am it. I'm the guy. I'm the one making all this happen. So just be mindful that while I usually give you open chords on most everything we do, sometimes it makes a little bit more sense to give you the closed chords, and then you should be able to decide, hey, which one is going to work better for me on this particular song, and there's that. So, do you have a guitar bar chord chart? I don't, Elizabeth, but if you will send me an email, I will definitely put one together. Elizabeth is talking about the chart. I have a chart for ukulele that has the 10 major bar chords for ukulele, and it's super handy. Guitar, I think it would make sense to have one. I think Arlo may have actually given me one at one point. So I'd be happy to put that together for you guys. I think knowing that this is a G chord, this is an A chord, you got a B right here and a B flat there, all those things are super helpful. And the other one that I use a lot, of course, is the bar, the G bar. This is actually a G also. So this bar chord that we're talking about right now is an E shape bar chord. Let me look at what I'm doing here. E, and then you come up that way. The one I use a lot, the G-shaped bar chord, but I will use it here. Okay? And so it's very helpful. There's a system out there called the Caged system, C-A-G-D, and I will help. We'll put that bar chord sheet together in two separate ways. One, just here's the name of the bar chords, and it's sort of a memorization thing. And then there is a system that guitarists use called Caged, where a C chord here needs to be an A chord here, and you have the same chord, and then here it needs to be the G chord or C-A-G, right? So this one's hard to do. And then an E chord, I think it's on, I can't remember if it's on 7 or 8. E chord, it's on 8, and then a D chord here on 10. And they're all the same chord. And so once you figure out Caged, if depending on where you're at, you're like, okay, I need a C chord here, but I can't use C because it's too high up. So I'll use G from further down, and so on. So I'll have to put that in a bar chord. I can't readily explain it to you just in the moment, but I do know that if I give you the piece of paper, it's like, oh yeah, I guess that makes some sense. Okay, so remind me, Elizabeth, and I'll put that together. All right, the other chords in the song that we have to talk about, so we talked about your bar chord G. We talked about how that bar chord G is sitting right above C minor. Okay, that's going to be a nice relationship to know, because let's say you're an F. Guess what's sitting right below there? Okay, it's good friend, right? It's going to sound good together. And then the B7 in the middle of measure 5 is a bit of a bummer because you're going to be using your pinky and ring way out there to get that B7. E minor is in the open position. F chord, and none of us like it, but again, it's just that same E chord with the bar chord. Measure 7, there's an 8 or a couple C chords. Those are mine. These are the guys that eat me alive. I don't know why. I've fought C chords since I was forever, right? I just don't know why. I just don't. My hand doesn't want to do it. Measure 9 is where things get kind of wonky. Measure 9, we've got that E flat augmented. And so you're on 5, okay? And you're going to be putting 5 and 6 on strings 4 and 3. And then your pinky down on 7. Okay. Anytime in music you see augmented, you can be assured that what's about to come out of your instrument is going to sound wrong. Okay. But they have these moments where like, okay, why does the E flat augmented have 2 G's in it? And that's the problem with this particular moment in the song. And this is how you know they did not write this song on a guitar, by the way. You've got these two G's right in the middle, and they're super annoying, right? It doubles up at a place that you don't want them. There's no other choice. Believe me, I looked through all of the other options in terms of the E flat augmented, trying to get rid of those. You can just not play these 2 strings here. You can drop them and just play the bottom 3 strings. but it felt a little thin to me. And then I thought, well, I want to have at least 4. And then I thought, oh, heck, I'll just strum the whole thing. If you strum it relatively quickly, you don't notice those double G's, but it is, again, with this fretted instrument tuned in this manner, augmented chords, we run into that. And I try as often as possible to avoid augmented chords on the guitar, but when they've been put into the song into a symphonic arrangement or a piano arrangement, which they sound fine on piano, you're just like, well, that's what it is, and we're going to have that weird little ding. I think if you strum it quickly and move on, you'll be fine, Bill. So that's the E flat augmented. Just know when you see an augmented chord, it's a little bit disappointing, and it's never going to be easy to finger, and it's never going to sound quite the way you want it to. You move on. And notice in the tough acts, you're going to do it a little bit different. You've got a bar on 4. Your ring finger is up here on your middle finger is up here, 5 on 4, and then you've got to get your pinky way out here to 7. So, which is actually a beautiful chord. I mean, if you listen to that, that's a cool moment, right? That sounds very much like, Dia de los Muertos. Right? That's just all this weirdness. Then the nights are apart, right? And so this is cool. It's a great chord. It's not really easy to do. And then that's going to be followed up in measure at the end of the measure with this crazy D suspended 4th, which also has a double string here in the middle. Okay, so it's also got these double G in the middle. It's not meant to mimic the E flat, but it does. And so when we get to the tough act discussion, I'll show you how I think about it. But again, I think if you strum through it quickly and move on to page 2, you'll probably have your best results there. When you get to measure 11 on page 2, but we're back to the same main idea. Again, you may want to switch out the open G for a bar G, but either one sounds fine. And then you go to the C minor. Though I have to travel far, remember me. Okay, either G. You got a nice D minor here. The funny part is in strumming it, the D minor, use this one. Whenever you hear a sad guitar, know that I'm with you, right? And I'm not singing it right, but you get this nice, lovely D minor here, and it's just beautiful. But when you do the chord melody, when you do tough acts, you're going to be an A minor shape on 6 with your pinky up here on 8, which sounds even cooler in my mind, just quite a bit harder to play. Okay, and then the problem then is, of course, you've got to go clear up to the 0, 0, 10 for the G. The melody note's on 10, and your chord is down here. It sounds fine just to open zeros. But then you're going to rush down, and now you're going to have to be very specific about your string choices, okay? The chord's a C, so if you're strumming it, just a regular old C, but when you're in the tough acts, you got to make sure to get these 3 strings just right, or you'll have a little bit of a mess on your hands. Then measure 16, again, more bar chords, right? You got your B minor on there. The only way that I can be. And then in the movie and in all of the pieces of sheet music I saw, they do this exact thing. Until you're in my arms again. And they sing it real high. And that was one of the challenges with actually getting it to fit on the fretboard, was that it was going way down here. So I ended up having to do some octave stuff here. There's this one moment, I'm not going to tell you where it is. There's this one moment where I'm like, that just doesn't sound that awesome. But you move right on past it, because I had to drop the octave in order to get this to fit on here. And then it actually plays pretty well. 0, 3, 3, 4, 4, 3, 5. Okay. And do pay attention to that fermata there in 17. It also shows up in 18 as well, right? We want to make that one note really nice and long. And then I would take a moment to look at the chord in 17, that E flat. E flat's again an E. This is an E. Guitar is tuned to E. It likes to do everything in E. So therefore if it's an E flat, it's not going to be that happy about it. But that's this chord here. Do I want it right? Yeah. Pretty, but pretty hard to finger. So if you're going to sing this song, you are going to have to study these chords a little bit and really pay attention to what you're up to when it comes time to singing it, because you're going to be having to really pay attention. These are not guitar-friendly chords. And guys, I tried it in all the other keys, hoping to get it to fit in some sort of rational way, and it just doesn't really fit on guitar. And that, and that's how you know when you're arranging and you're like, man, this is a song about a guitar by a guitarist, and it just isn't working. Everything seems hard. It's because it was written on a piano, almost for sure. And then they used an orchestrator to turn it into a symphonic piece. And now all of a sudden you got a mess trying to actually get it onto a guitar. I will mention very quickly, the last 4 chords are really fun. They're really, really fun. So you've got this A minor, re, and then you go up to your E flat again. Here it is. Mem, back to C minor. Me. Okay, really beautiful. It works out even better in the tough acts, but those are really nice chords. And so if you like singing and you want to tackle this, you've got plenty to work on. Now, I think this is maybe the hardest strummer that I've ever had to put together, and I am absolutely surprised how difficult it is to play and sing. And plus, the song itself is not exactly easy to sing. You got to be a pretty decent singer to get it off, to pull it off. Now, that being said, the melody is outstanding, and so let's just go through and play that a couple of times. Let's just play it as written. And I got a message from somebody today. Says, I don't think I'm ready for level 4. Yes, you are. You can always play the guitar melody. It's always one note at a time, and this is for a lot of times the chords are not going to be they're going to be harder than you want them to be when you're newer at guitar, but playing melody is never going to change. From Frere Jacques to the end of time, it's always one note at a time, and all you got, and mostly it's going to be on these first 3 strings, and that means that you can play level 4. Okay, and don't think that it's nothing. As I talked about earlier today, being the lead guitarist means playing melody. Who makes the money in the band? The lead guitarist. That's the guy that's going to make all the money. So if you are making a good melody come out of your guitar, you're on the right path. Okay, chords is a whole different story. But the person that's in front of the band, Slash, Eddie Van Halen, what's his face from Led Zeppelin? These are the guys, Eric Clapton. These are the guys you want to be, and you want to be the lead, not the chord guy. And so playing melody is always something you can do from day one on in my program, and I do think it's something you don't want to neglect. You do want to be able to really be really good at that. So far, I'm just playing. That's what Elizabeth says. Hey, man, it's a hard song. I'm going to start with the melody, and then you can start looking at other things you can do with it. So let's play the melody. Let's play it all the way from top to bottom. We'll do go down through 17, then we'll come back and we'll play it again. Okay, so this will be our main part of today, is just making sure we know how the melody goes. Okay, and I'll probably give you a little bit of singing along here, and as you know, that's not necessarily helpful, but it'll help you find your place on the paper. Okay, nice and slow work session today. 1, 2, 3. Remember me, though I have to say goodbye. 7, 7, 5, 3. 7, 8, 7, 7, 5, 5. 3, 3, 12, 12, 10, 10. 7, 7, 3, 10. 8, 8, 7, 5. 3, 0, 10, 7, 7, 3, 7, 5, 5, 3, 5. And give that a nice fermata there, and then go 5, 7, 3, 3, 3, 0, 1, 3, 3, 5, 5, 7, 7, 8, 7. Isn't that beautiful? That's cool. 7, 7, 8, 8, 7, 7, 8, 10. Oh, 3, 3, 2, 2, oh, oh, 3, 3, oh, oh, 2, oh, 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 3, 3, 4, 4, 3, 5. Go back to the top. 5, 7, 3, 3, 3, 0, 1, 3, 3, 5, 5, 7, 7, 5, 3, 7, 8, 7, 7, 5, 5, 3, 3, 12, 12, 10, 10, 7, 7, 3, 10, 8, 8, 7, 5, 3, oh, 10, 10, 10, where am I? 10, 10, 8, 8, 7, 7, 3, 7, 5, 5, 3, 5. Sorry, I got a little lost there. Keep going. 5, 7, 3, 3, 3, 0, 1, 3, 3, 5, 5, 7, 7, 8, 7, 7, 7, 8, 8, 7, 7, 8, 10. Oh, 3, 3, 2, 2, oh, oh, 3, 3, oh, oh, 2, oh. Second ending. Oh, oh, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 7, 3, 5. Remember me. And that's really nice, right? G. So that's what we're working on there. That's a nice little melody, right? Not terribly complex in and of itself, and it is a little bit all over the place. That's why a lot of times when you see a melody that's all over the place, you start looking for, hey, I want to redo my fingering, where if I'm playing up here, I don't want to jump clear down here to find the note and then jump back here. But this melody, I noticed, doesn't really help you with that. There are a couple of places where I might have moved the note onto an upper string further down here, but I noticed it wasn't necessarily helping me when I was doing the tough acts, and so I basically left it as just a straight drag down, and we're going to be all over the neck, and we'll end up working a little harder than we maybe might want to. But I also think having it as far down here as possible, as often as possible, you get those nice long lush notes. And so there's a lot to be said for the melody here. It's really quite nice. Also, if you read the words, holy Moses, it's a sad song, but also really beautiful. And so a lot of times with lyrics, especially on these Disney tunes, you're like, whatever. But then I think these are nice. And there was one place where the song doesn't repeat exactly in the movie, and there was one place where there just weren't enough notes for a measure, so I tossed in a few that were basically repeats of somewhere else in the song, and I don't even remember where they are, but the words are not dead on exact, but they all speak to the same idea of, hey, I might be far away, but I'm remembering you, and so why don't you remember me too, which is exactly what the theme of the show was. All right, so that's enough of that. It's a lot of me talking, a lot of us just getting oriented. Let's go through talking about every single moment in the tough acts, okay? And again, if you're not there, if this is beyond your abilities at the moment, that's perfectly fine. Work on the chords, work on the open chords first. Bar chords can be a bummer. Work on the open chords, then go through and work on the melody. I would say probably if you have to pick one or the other, melody is way more important than chords, at least in the beginning. And just getting comfortable with playing that, trying to play it at speed. Go go grab the MP3. I sent you guys the MP3 with your paper. Go download it into your phone, and then use one of those tempo slowing apps. Slow it down and try playing with it on your phone. And it's a little bit different experience than playing with me here on YouTube, because I also adjust my tempo, which I'm not supposed to, but I end up doing that. And probably when the going gets tough, I probably am slowing down, and just as you probably do at home. And that's not really an ideal thing to do. As a soloist, you get away with that, but we don't really want that. We would like to keep the pacing steady throughout. All right, tough X. First note's a 5. We can live with that, right? Then you're going to have 0007. So I would probably start with your middle finger. And then 0007. Let that ring. That's beautiful. Now those additional 3s are just extra notes. They're just there they're not doing any work other than filling in a really long first note. So I have been playing it as, and just hitting those 3 strings. And going down, getting the 3, and then putting an open G chord on. Okay, and again, just hitting those extra, that chord that comes after that, just to fill up some space. And I haven't worried overly about dulling, muting the string when I come down. Probably as I'm getting closer to having this in better shape, I'll probably start thinking about that and probably tending to pluck it rather than strum it, because I don't want to stop that note from ringing unless I have to. Let's see. Elizabeth said the melody is a flute part. With chords would be really, yeah, heck yeah, man. I guarantee you, this song will be around for a while, and there's going to be a lot of people who bring other instruments, and I think a woodwind instrument of any sort, with that human voicing that's behind it, a flute, clarinet, those types of instruments, maybe not oboe so much, but maybe, who knows, along with any other type of accompaniment instrument. This would be beautiful, right? All right, so we're in the middle major 2, and we're talking just about extra notes or extra pretty chord underneath there. Then we got 3-0, 101. This sounds so cool. Listen, that's beautiful. Then you got your 3. That's your open C minor. I'm sliding up to the 5 with my pinky. Plus, I'm getting that if I do it right. And my pinky is going to be on here. You got to get your index finger on the 4, and then these other 2 here. So basically, you've got an A minor shape, but your pinky's on 5 as well. Listen how cool that is. I adore that chord. Okay. Then a couple 7s, and then the 5. And then you go back to your open G chord, ring finger on the 2nd string. And again, a little bit of just fill in. Then go grab your 7, probably with your ring finger here, because you're going to have to get your pinky on 8 is the next thing that happens. So you put your ring finger there, pinky on 8, bar on 5, and then the C shape in front. So you've got the bar on 5, middle and ring right there. Okay, so that's your C shape in front of the bar, and then your pinky is going to be on 8. This is a little awkward. This is one of those moments you're like, really? That's a lot of work, but it's going to be beautiful. So then we get everybody on there. Listen to that. That is so nice. And I am hitting the 5th string here, so I think if you want to put a 5 underneath the 7 on that chord, it's going to be, really fill it out pretty nice. Okay, then slide your pinky back to 7, middle on 5, bar on 4, leave your middle finger where it is. Okay. And then go hit a 3. Now, I have been doing this, which is a little bit of a dumb stretch, right? I should be hitting the pinky with the 3, and then it's easier to get your E minor on. I'm going to write myself a note on that last 3 and measure 5. I want to hit it with my pinky. Okay. And then you've got to go all the way up to 12, right? So be thoughtful. If you have a metal string guitar, you probably don't want to slide your finger from your pinky finger from 3 to 12. That's a really great way to cut your finger open. Okay. If you got a plastic string guitar, you're probably okay. but just be mindful. You're playing this E minor with a 3, and then I got to jump up to 12. 7s. Okay, it doesn't matter which fingers you use because you're going to be right back to 10s. Okay, and then 8, 8. And then the 5s. That's a beautiful run. I just adore that. And then hit the 3. Whoops, wrong string. And I have a note to play it with my pinky. And the reason my note to play it with my pinky there is I'm going to need to be putting on my C chord in the meantime, right, which is at the measure 8, and then losing my pinky. And then go jump group foot up to those 10s. Slide to the 8 with your pinky. You want your pinky on that 8 so you can bar the 5. Grab the 7s. Now here's where it gets a little wonky. You hit the 3, and you immediately have to hit this bar on 4, middle finger on the 4th string, 5th fret, and your pinky way out here at 7. This is the first super annoying chord. Okay, E flat augmented. It is what it is. It sounds better in the tuck uke than it does in the just strumming. But that's the shape you're going to need to have. Pinky way over here, middle, and then a bar on 4. And it's a cool chord, but it's hard to do. I'm squeezing like heck right now, right? To get all of those clean. And then you've got 5, 5, 3. And you're going to want to have your middle finger on 3 here. So that 3 by itself, you should mark it because this is the only way it works. You hit M for middle finger right there. 3. You're going to put your index finger right above it on the 3. Pinky out here at 5. And then these two guys have to go all the way up here to the 5s on strings 5 and 4. Okay, so your only string you're going to have open is your 3rd string. It's a mess. Okay, D suspended 4th. Okay, and again, what we talked about earlier, Bill was like, why do we have so many doubled up notes in here? Yeah, he didn't say it exactly like that, but that's probably what he meant. Push yourself through this. Okay, then you don't notice those doubled up notes. And it's super weird, crazy chord going on there, and that's what we want in this moment. I sing a secret song to you each night. We are apart. I don't even know how in the world anybody comes up with chords like that. And that's what they're doing there. And then we go back to playing the song. Okay. Okay, and then go back to your G chord with your ring on 2. 2nd string. My favorite chord in the piece. And again, this index and these 2 5s. Okay, 2 7s. Okay, I need to have ring fingers on those 7s. And then hit those open 0s are just for extra. 7, 7, 8. Now this looks like more of a mess than it is at 14. It's just an A minor shape on 6. So 6, A minor, and then your pinky stays on 8. Another great moment, just beautiful. Okay, slide it back to get your 7s. And then up to the 10. I let that ring just a little bit as I'm going back to grab my C chord. So I'm grabbing 3, 2, 0. Okay, just the top of the C chord. Okay, and then I'm going to be using my ring down here on these 3s. Because now I'm going to put the top of the C chord on, or the bottom of it, I guess. So I'm going to take this, at 15 there is a motion here that's not exactly easy to do. C chord, and now I got to pull my 3s down here. Okay, then your 2 0s. Prime my pinky for the 3. Jump up, grab your A minor shape on 3. Open. This one, I don't see any other way to do it other than just grab 2 and put your pinky up there. So the 2 2s and the 4 are here. Make sure you're on the 5th string and everything else works out. You hit the 0, hit the 2, and then switch to E minor and play 4 strings. And then you're going to hit that last little 0 at the end of 16 before reaching up here. It's a C shape, 5 and 6. Okay, we get another double note here. Index finger on 3, middle finger on 4, or 3 twice. Hit the 3, and then 2 5s. When you have that fermata, the high note and a fermata, for sure, take your pinky and wiggle it just a little bit. Get that nice vibrato in there. And then we go back and play the song again. And the last part is the same as the second ending is the same through that moment. The only thing on the second ending we got to know is coming is that this mess of chords here. So let's talk about measures 19 and 20, and then we're going to play the song through, and then we will have survived another Thursday night. Okay? So when you get to 19, you have that same note. It's even longer because it's a tied for an extra beat. So really let it go till your guitar is dead, basically. Then go grab A minor with your 3 on the 1st string. Okay, then you got 3 4 0 5, 3 4 0 5. That's a cool moment, right? What is it? That's that darn E flat again. And then you've got this beautiful C minor in the open position. Okay, and then just finish up your G chord. Beautiful ending, right? Just what we wanted to do. Very satisfying. All right. You ready? We'll play it top to bottom. If the chord melody if that's not happening tonight, perfectly fine. That's something for you to work on. Play the melody. Okay. If the melody is too easy for you, start messing around with the chords. The melody is not too easy for you, by the way. The melody is a lot of work. All right, ready? Let's get our game face on. This will be the first time we played this on a Thursday night, and we will for sure play it again next week on a Thursday night. We'll just see how the week goes next week and see if it's coming together pretty well for me, then it should be coming together pretty well for you. That's my assumption, okay? From the top, we're going to play it twice through, just as written. And about half the speed that is written, though, right? 1, 2, 3. Whoop. Ah. There. I didn't do my own rule there. Okay, go on to page 2. Ready, go. Okay, going back to the beginning. I'm going to get it yet? Guess what chord I'm going to be working on for all next week? Second ending. Basically let your guitar die out and then pick up here. Whew. All right. So hopefully that's making some sense. Hopefully we got enough work in where you can find those places that are going to be tough for you and those places that are going to be easy for you. As always, be smart musicians, right? Pele said today earlier, and I loved it. She says, "I found a way to do this where I'm cheating." And I'm like, that's not cheating. That's called being a smart musician. That's going in and finding, hey, this is a part that's going to be a problem for me. I'm going to do one of two things. I'm either going to play that until it's not a problem, or I'm going to change it to make it more realistic for what we're doing. So for me, obviously, measure 9 is where I'm going to have all of my work cut out for me. So I'm going to be putting on a bar on 4, middle finger here, pinky there, right? Then I got to go get these 5s. Then I got to get my middle finger here, then the index here, pinky there, and these two guys have to go up there. Okay, it's easy to think. Once I've thought it through, right? I'm like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. Now I have to talk my fingers into doing it exactly the same way every single time. So I don't need to work on the whole song. I'm only going to work on that one measure until that measure comes together. Then I'll go back and see how it fits into the rest of the song. And I think that that's probably, as I watch, these more advanced guitarists that we know in the group and around the world, and just watching these sorts of videos where people are talking about it, that's how the top level guys do it, right? They know that they can play most of it, or they wouldn't have it in front of them in the first place. But there's always going to be some part of some song that's going to give you fits. And that can be all the way down to Frere Jacques. Remember those eighth notes there in Frere Jacques? You're like, what? Do you mean you want me to play those twice as fast? There's always some part of every song that's going to be a little bit of a booger. And so you go find those parts. That's what this whole work session does is, all right, I can do that. I can do that. Can't do that yet. And find your places and then work just on that section until that's starting to come together, until you at least have a plan or a strategy every single time I'm going to do it this way. The other thing to be aware of is sometimes the strategy at a slow speed is not going to work when you start getting it up faster, but you don't know that until you are playing it faster. And the only way to play it faster is to solve the problem at the moment. And so, like, I found another situation here where I'm putting my ring. I'll measure 15. Pretty sure my idea there is not going to work once I speed it up, because I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to have a C chord here, and then I'm going to drop my ring finger here. I don't think that's going to work at speed, so I'm going to have to think about putting my pinky there and then putting my ring down. So that's probably what I'll be doing. So, you find these places where, came up with the solution, but then as you start to play through it, you're like, that's not going to work. Because what's happening is it's getting closer to being ready to go, and you're finding those places where you made a dumb decision in the past. But the nice part is once you've mindfully thought through the decisions you're going to make playing it, then you can then unmindfully think them as well. You're like, well, I really thought that was going to work, but it's not. So now I'm going to have to re-mindfully think about it. So, all right. I think it's a great song. I'm delighted. We're going to spend a couple weeks on it. And I think it's a winner. Like, if you could sit down at you go walk into one of these coffee shops, there's a guitar sitting in the corner, you go sit down and you just play that and then set the guitar back down. You're going to have people coming up wanting to know your name, right? Because that's going to be beautiful. So, and that's all we want, is people at the coffee shop to want to know who you are, right? That's it. That's the purpose of having a guitar. Us fellas, we thought this how we get the ladies. That didn't work out at all. Having a job and being pleasant got us the ladies. So I think, right? I don't know, ladies. Right. I'm going to shut up because obviously I'm starting to ramble. It's 8:52. We got in our full, almost basically exactly on time tonight. And so, guys, I don't hear from you, so I'm assuming that things are going great. And I hear a little bit from the weekday people about how things are going with them. And so I'm generalizing that their problems are your problems too. And so just let me know as you're studying a piece of music and you're like, gosh, I don't know if this works, or, hey, I think came up with a much better idea for how we should do this one measure, or whatever. Be communicative with me. I'm going to be still right. And the next stuff I'm working on is going to be some more Spanish stuff. I've just been loving playing some Torrega and the Andante from Andante and G by the Carulli, yeah. And so I'm loving that kind of stuff. So I'm working up some more Spanish tunes for us to put on guitar. They're beautiful and really just, go back to the history and the beginnings of guitar. And it's the kind of stuff classical guitar players tend to move away from. And that's the stuff I want us to be moving toward, because I think it's going to make you sound great. And that's it. So, peace. I'll see you guys down the road somewhere. And like I say, don't be communicative with me. And there we go. Let me know that you're still there. There we go. Vic says, yeah, there we go. I know Vic's difficulties, right? I actually have but thanks to 5G, I actually have a camera in Vic's house. It's right above her music bench, and so that's what I know what problems she's having. No way, we all have the same problems, Vic. So then, yeah. Thanks for saying that. That makes me happy. Pele, I see you soon. If I can make it on time? Pele, you're 808, right? We get there when we get there. All right. Have a great night, Pele. Elizabeth, it's a beautiful piece, right? 3 weeks from now, we're going to be playing this, and we're going to be like, I'm so glad that I have this. This isn't hard at all, right? So, Bill, we'll see you next week. Have a great night. And Vic, I'll probably see you tomorrow. So you guys be good, and I will see all of you tomorrow. And whoever else is hanging out up here in the widget, you guys have a wonderful night as well. And and Donna just walked in, so now I want to go hang out with her. So I like her a lot. She's okay. So I will see all of you guys down the road somewhere, and be good, be safe. Don't go outside. It's not good out there. So I will see. And especially Vic, she lives up in Oregon, and they're sort of loading people into unmarked vehicles up there. So we don't want to see that, Vic. Have a great night, and I will see all of you guys soon.